Hey adventurers, so today is going to be my quarter 4 MBR and a brief look back at my quarter 3 one just to see how I did. So on my quarter 3 MBR I had, as a holdover, I had Tribe of the Accord, which I did finish. I then reset my TBR and started completely fresh, and then so the new books that I added onto the MBR were Peter Pan, which I did read, Last Sword of Power, which is book 2 of Stones of Power by David Gemmell. Is that his name? Gemmell, David, whatever that author is. I haven't read that one. The Fall of Arthur by J.R. Tolkien. I haven't read that one. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I did read that one, which is book 7 of Harry Potter series. Rada by Tracy M. Joyce. I didn't read. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I did read. The Pioneers, which is Leatherstockings, book 4. I did not read. That's by James Fenimore Cooper. Eversion by, I keep trying to say Blake Crouch. It's not Blake Crouch. It's Alistair Reynolds. I did read. More Than Legends by J.R. Carroll. I'm going to say that I did read. Eric Larson, just a generic Eric Larson book. One of them I did not read. I don't know why I didn't end up reading one of those. I just never put it on hold and never listened to it. And then Secret Project number 5, which is the Isles of the Ember Dark by Brandon Sanderson. That one I did read as well. And then to finish, I had Rackety Tam and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, Pearl and Sir Orfeo, and I did finish that one as well. So I did succeed in this because it's an MBR. These are books that I might read, depends on what else comes in. And at the same time, I inserted and brought in a whole bunch of other books that I was reading at the same time, stuff like that. So I don't feel bad about this. I actually feel pretty good about this because I made good progress in series. I made sure to hit pretty much all the books that I was, or one of each of the 4 things that I was trying to, and so I'm good with that. Just a quick reminder before I go into my quarter 4 MBR, the 4 things that I'm trying to hit with each MBR is 1 classic, 1 book that was sent to me by the author, 1 fantasy, and 1 sci-fi. So if I can hit those 4 things, then I'm good. And oftentimes those things can cross over. So like I can read a sent to me that is also a fantasy or a sci-fi, or a classic that is also a fantasy or a sci-fi, something like that. I do try and make sure that I have 4 things so that I can apply each one of those to 4 different books. If not, that's fine though. But that's just a quick reminder that that's what I'm shooting for with these MBRs. As for quarter 4, the holdovers that I have from last quarter, which are basically the books that I started in the last quarter and did not finish, I am going to say 0, although that has a slight caveat with More Than Legends by J.R. Carroll. This is, I should be finishing it. I'm filming this on September 28th, and so I should have it finished by the 1st. I've got that much left, so I'm pretty close to finishing it. I could easily finish this in 3 days, and I'm going to try. If I don't, it'll just be very, very short amount that I have to finish held over when I enter into this next quarter. That is rambling. My tongue is not braining as fast as I need it to. All right, so no holdovers with that slight caveat. However, for new books, I'm kind of not doing a full reset, but kind of doing a full reset. I'm not specifically pulling all the same books back off of that first. You know what I didn't do? In quarter 3, I didn't read a book that was sent to me. No, I did. That's not true. More Than Legends was sent to me by the author. So yeah, I'm okay on that one. Anyways, let's. Sorry, that was now I'm off track. New books that I'm adding onto the TBR, the MBR this time. Some of them you'll see repeated. Some of them you won't. Even though I didn't read them last quarter. I keep trying to say semester, last quarter. So to start with, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. This is one where one of the Discords said that they were going to read this book in September. So I said, well, I'll put it on hold and see if it comes through in September. If it doesn't come through in September, it should be before the end of the year. And I'll definitely fit it in because it's worth me trying another Agatha Christie, because even though I haven't cared for the Poirots that I've read, I still am willing to try more and see if I can find something that I do like from Christie. So I do want to read And Then There Were None. Last Sword of Power by David Gemmell. Again, this is the second book in the Stones of Power duology by David Gemmell. I've been reading this one with Liam from Liam's Lyceum, and we were supposed to read it in one of the previous months, and we never ended up getting to it. We were both too busy to read it at that month, and so we pushed it off and the plan is to read it in October. So we're going to try that. So I put it back on here for that as well. Queen of Sorcery, which is Belgariad Book 2 by David Eddings. So the reason why this is on here is because I read I read Pawn of Prophecy, which is Book 1 in the Belgariad when was it? June? I think I read it in, let me find out real quick. Pawn of Prophecy, I read it in July. It's the first book I finished in July. And I've been wanting to get back to it, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. And so I figure, okay, well, now's a good time to do that. So yeah, Queen of Sorcery. And then I have The Pioneers by James Fenimore Cooper, which is book 4 of the Leatherstocking Tales. And I didn't read this one last quarter. I wanted to, I never really tried to. I wanted to, but other things were coming up, and so I ended up not listening to this one. And I also haven't gone and found the audiobook for it yet. So it's on the plan for sure. I just don't know when. I was kind of hoping that I could finish Leatherstocking Tales in 2025. It probably won't happen. I'll probably end up getting to the 5th and final book in the series in Q1 of 2026, but we'll see what happens. Pioneers by James Fenimore Cooper. Rada by Tracy M. Joyce. This one is again going on this list. I am again going to try really hard to get to this one and read it, and I am excited for it. I think that I will enjoy it, or at least there will be plenty of things for me to enjoy in this book. And it's been sitting on my shelf for way too long, and it's one that I really, 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 really need to get to, and so I'm going to give it a try, and I'm really going to try hard to get to it this quarter. Yes. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So this is one where I have never read Frankenstein, and so I need to. I was looking for the audiobooks, or I was just kind of looking to see if it was available one day, and I saw that my library has an audiobook as narrated by Jim Weiss, who is a storyteller that I have listened to from my childhood. He's very well known in the homeschool communities, and he does a lot of stuff with the homeschooling communities and a lot of work with them, gives them a lot of resources, has a lot of resources that are available to people through that he has used. And the point is, I know his voice very well. I've listened to him. He's kind of the voice of my childhood in a lot of ways. And so when I saw that my library had an audiobook as narrated by him, I was like, absolutely. And so I put it on hold, and it hasn't come through yet, but it should come through before the end of October. And that seems like a fitting book to read in October, even though I'm not a Halloweener. I don't really do Halloween, but it still seems like a fitting book to read in October. So it's good. It's a good try. If that doesn't happen for some reason, and I just find that I just really am dying to read Frankenstein, I also found one on Audible that was free, and I don't know if it will remain free forever or not. Probably not. But I found one that was free on Audible as narrated by Dan Stevens, I think is who it was, and that's another fantastic voice for narration, and especially for like a dark, creepy book like this. And so I have two options, and I kind of want to do both of them because I suspect they're going to both be incredible. But anyways, I'm going to try and do Frankenstein and remove that classic and that seminal piece of science fiction literature off my TBR that I have never read, and so definitely one that I really need to do. Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. I have no idea why I have not read this one. My excuse is that, I haven't had time to. It's been on my shelf for years now. It's been on my shelf for how long I've been graduated. It's been on my shelf since basically I started BookTube. I'm pretty sure it's 4 or 5 years at least, and so I definitely need to get to this one. Plus, it's Chaucer, and I needed to have read it years ago. So yeah, but I have also been thinking, kind of the way that my mind works is if I have the physical book, I don't need to listen to the audiobook for it. But if I don't get to the physical book in a reasonable amount of time, why don't I just listen to the audiobooks that I've actually consumed the story? And I finally realized that in regards to Canterbury Tales, and I was like, oh, let's do that then. And so I'm going to try and listen to Canterbury Tales at some point. Of course, this would then meet my classic requirement. So yeah, that's definitely going to try and get to that one. Another one that I'm super excited for is Cold Silver for Souls, Shade Silver Book 1 by Tori Tekken. This is Tori's, of course, from the channel Tori Talks, and I really enjoyed Bloodstones. Bloodstones was my favorite book that I read in 2024. Phased was I enjoyed and really appreciated what she was doing with it, although it didn't quite resonate with me as strongly as Bloodstones did. but I've heard fantastic things about Cold Silver for Souls. I know that it's going to be incredible because I have talked to Tori quite a bit, and I can't wait to read it. Plus the fantasy western, plus set in a cold setting. I am 100% down for it. So I haven't read it yet, but I really want to, and I'm going to try and prioritize it in this quarter as well. A couple more. The Hollow Hills by Mary Stewart. This is the second book in her Arthurian saga. First book is The Crystal Cave, and I read that and really enjoyed it back in June, I think. So I want to continue with that series as well, and I'm hoping to do that sooner rather than later. Plus, I like having Arthuriana on my MBR consistently so that I can keep reading more and more and more of it. So yeah, Hollow Hills. Prophet of Adan by Philip Chase. This is the second book in the Adan trilogy. The first book is The Way of Adan. I read that one, or I listened to that one I guess it was in January that I listened to that one, and I enjoyed that one quite a bit. The audiobook finally came out for book 2, and so I figured perfect time. Let's get into that one as well. Let's get it prioritized so I can listen to it soon. It won't be immediately, but it will be one of my one of the high priority series for me. A Soul Divided, the Bloodfire Trilogy by Daniel M. Quilter. So this is a book where the author reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in reviewing my book? Generally, I say no to, at the moment, generally I'm saying no to review requests because I don't have time, and I have a backlog of unread author requests, review requests, and so it's better if I just say no, because that way I won't disappoint you by not reading your book in a reasonable amount of time. In 3 years, it's not reasonable. So I said yes to this one because he specifically offered me an audiobook for it, and I can get to audiobooks a lot quicker, and so I said okay. And of course I vetted it. I asked him the questions that I generally ask audio or authors when they're offering to send me their book, and so I did vet it and made sure that it's something that I think I'll probably enjoy, and not DNF, because that's important as well. And so he sent me the audiobook, so I'm going to try and listen to the audiobook of that one, and we'll see what I think of that one. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And then, so that's all of the new books. As far as to finish, these are books that I just need to finish them up. I've been reading them for a long time and never like soft DNF'd them or anything like that. I've just been slowly working on them over time. And one that I was supposed to finish in quarter 3, but it's not going to happen at this point, is Rackety Tam by Brian Jakes. I love Redwall series. I've talked about this extensively. I'm actually really close to the end. I'm about 45 pages from the end of this book, so it would not take me very long to finish this one up. I'm definitely going to try and finish this one up, but it's going to have, most likely it's going to end up being in quarter 4 as of right now. So very glad to finally finish those up and have pretty much nothing that is currently ongoing that I just really need to finish. I might try and return some of my soft DNFs, like She by H. Rider Haggard or The Gallic Wars by Julius Caesar. Those are 2 that I soft DNF'd because I couldn't get to them at the time. Couldn't find a good... some things came up. I was busy, had to read other things, whatever it might be. And I just put them down because they weren't working for me at the moment. Gallic Wars that was fascinating. I was enjoying that a lot. She was not working for me at the moment. So, whatever the case, I need to return to those at some point and see what I think. But yeah, so that is my quarter 4 MBR. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and our social media is linked in the description down below. We'll see you guys again soon. Stay warm.